a Wikividi Documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Cédric Bakambu. Cédric Bakambu is a French-born Congolese professional footballer who plays for Chinese club Beijing Sinobogon FC as a forward. He made his professional debut for Sochaux in 2010, and played 107 official games for them over 5 seasons, scoring 21 goals. He then moved to Bursaspor for €1.8 million, finishing as top scorer as his team came runners-up in the Turkish Cup, before signing for Villarreal a year later. Born in France, he represented that country up to under-20 level, totaling 8 goals in 38 games and winning the 2010 UEFA European Championship for the under-19s. In 2015, he made his senior debut for the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Sochaux. Born in Vitry-sur-Seine, Val-de-Marne, Bakambu began his career at local US Ivry at the age of 10 before transferring to FC Sochaux Montbéliard 4 years later. On 1 May 2010, Bakambu played in the 2010 Coupe Gambardella final and scored a goal for his team at the Stade de France. Sochaux, however, lost the match 4-3 on penalties. He had previously scored a double in the team's 4-3 aggregate semi-final victory over FC Metz. Bakambu made his professional debut on 7 August 2010 in Secours' opening match of the Ligue 1 season against Arles Avignon, appearing as an 83rd-minute substitute for Modibo Maiga in a 2-1 win at the Stade Auguste Bonal. The following month, he signed his first professional contract, agreeing to a 3-year deal with the club until June 2013. On 17 September 2011, Bakambu scored his first professional goal, the first equaliser in a 2-2 draw at Lille SC, 11 minutes after replacing Carlao. A year and 9 days later, as a 66th-minute replacement for King Osanga, he scored twice in a 3-2 extra-time home win over Evian Tonon-Gaillard FC in the third round of the Coupe de la Ligue. Bakambu scored 7 goals in 31 appearances over the 2013-14 Ligue 1 season, in which Sochaux were relegated. This included 2 on 21 December in a 2-1 home win over Stade Rennais. Across the campaign, he was placed on the right wing by manager Hervé Renard until he would become sufficiently mentally mature for a centre-forward role. On 23 March, he was sent off for handball in a 2-1 loss at Saint-Étienne. Bursaspor. On 1 September 2014, Bakambu left France for the first time, moving on a 4-year transfer to Turkey's Bursaspor for a fee of €1.8 million and an annual salary of €800,000. He made his debut in the Super League 12 days later, replacing Ozani Peak in the 55th minute of a 2-1 win at Jeans Le Bourgui SK. His first goals for the Green Crocodiles came on 19 October, in either half of a 2-2 draw against Eskişehirspor at the Bursa Atatürk Stadium, and 6 days later he scored a first professional hat-trick in a 5-0 win at Bulkasaspor. He finished his only league season in Bursa with 13 goals in 27 games. In the season's domestic cup, Bakambu was the top scorer, with 8 goals in 12 games as his team reached the final before a 3-2 home loss to Galatasaray. This tally included trebles in a 5-0 win at Mersinid Marnurdu on 27 January and a 3-0 victory over Fatih Karagümrük SK 9 days later, both in the group stage. As Galatasaray won the double, Bursaspor faced them in the 2015 Turkish Super Cup on 8 August, with Bakambu playing the whole of the 1-0 loss. Villarreal. On 19 August 2015, Spanish side Villarreal announced the signing of Bakambu on a 5-year contract. He made his La Liga debut 4 days later, replacing Leo Baptistao in the 61st minute of a 1-1 draw at Real Betis in the first game of the season. On the 28th he came on for the same player, and scored 2 goals in the closing minutes of the fixture against RC Espanyol at Estadio El Madrigal, to secure a 3-1 victory for the Yellow Submarine. Bakambu played his first game in European competition on 17 September, again as a substitute in a 2-1 loss at SK Rapid Wien in the group stage of the season's UEFA Europa League. On the 22nd of October, he scored his first goals in the tournament. a first-half double in a 4-0 home win over FC Dynamo Minsk. He added another to the following the 10th of March against Bayer Leverkusen in the first leg of the last 16. In the quarter-finals, he scored twice in each leg of a 6-3 aggregate win over Sparta Prague. He was one of 4 strikers named in the competition's squad of the season, and his 9 goals put him only one behind the top scorer, Athletic Bilbao's Aritz Aduriz. On the 1st of October 2017, Bakambu scored a hat-trick in a 3-0 home win over Steaua. He then scored 2 goals in a 2-1 win at Girona FC and another in a 4-0 win over UD Las Palmas to be named La Liga Player of the Month, the first African to win the award. In early January 2018, Villarreal manager Javier Calleja said that Bakambu was going through a transfer to Beijing Gone of the Chinese Super League. On the 17th of January 2018, Bakambu rescinded his contract with Villarreal. 2 weeks later, however, Beijing Gone still had not announced the signing of Bakambu, who had already played and scored for the club. It was reported that Beijing Gone were trying to avoid paying a 100% tax placed on incoming transfers worth over 45 million yuan by the Chinese Football Association. Beijing Gone. On the 28th of February 2018, the final day of the Chinese transfer window, Beijing Gone finally announced the signing of Bakambu. Bakambu reportedly signed a 4-year deal with the club, while the transfer fee paid was reported as €74 million, which would constitute an African transfer record. International career. Bakambu was a French youth international and has represented the country at both under-18 and under-19 level. He was a part of the team that won the 2010 UEFA European Under-19 Championship on home soil. On the 18th of July, he scored twice in a 4-1 opening win over the Netherlands in Cannes, and the 2-1 winner against Croatia in the semi-finals 9 days later, also at the Stade Michel Dornano. He was also part of the team that came fourth at the 2011 FIFA U20 World Cup in Colombia, opening a 2-0 win over Mali in the last group game in Cali. In March 2015, he opted to represent Democratic Republic of the Congo at senior level. On arrival in Kinshasa, he was greeted by fans with banners of him, later reflecting, "I hadn't even played a match yet they made banners for me. It's really something else. It was through football that I discovered my country." He was first called up in June ahead of a friendly against Cameroon on the 9th, and started the match, a 1-1 draw at the Stade Charles Dendreau in Mons, Belgium. On the 26th of March the following year, Bakambu scored his first international goal, opening a 2-1 win over Angola at the Stade des Martyrs with a penalty, in qualification for the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations. He added 2 more on the 5th of June, in a 6-1 win away to Madagascar. He was chosen in Florent Ibenge's squad for the final tournament in Gabon, and started in the opening group match, a 1-0 win over Morocco at the Stade d'Oyam. He then did not play again until a 7-minute run in the quarter-finals where the Congolese lost 2-1 to Ghana. Personal life. Born in France to parents from the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Bakambu said, "I grew up with both cultures and I am very proud of that. I think it's something that enriches you." Bakambu and international teammate Diomaye Mbokani were at Brussels airport when it was struck by terror attacks in March 2016. Both escaped unharmed. Brought to you by Wikividi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?